Hi everyone, my name is Natalia. Today I want to talk with you about astrology. Astrology is a parallel between celestial bodies and the interaction of people with nature. This is a phenomenon that has been carefully studied for many millennia. Eras changed, people changed, fashion changed. Interest in astrology is still very high, and it is gaining momentum every year. The word astrology is translated as the mind of the stars. History. One of the positive aspects is that astrology is a very ancient science. Back in Mesopotamia, scientists observed the starry sky and studied celestial movements, recorded this as their word tables. In addition, for a minute, these records date back to 5,000 years of age. Can you imagine how ancient this science of astrology is? Astrology came to Greece after the conquest of Alexander of Macedon, and then it spreads around the world. It comes to India, Egypt, ancient Rome, and more slowly it conquers our world. Thus we see that the age of astrology is very solid. Another fact is the moon. Astrologers argue that the moon affects the human body as well as it affects our earth. That is, the moon regulates the ebb and flow. And you know what is connected with why the moon affects a person so much is one of the facts is that the human body consists of 75% of water. Whether astrology is fun for us or not, but according to statistics, 1/3 of the world's population refers to astrology as a science. And for a month, imagine more than 2 billion people. According to a study by USA Today, among the most influential people in the United States, those who turn to astrologers are successful. What do you think why? When in order to build your natal chart, make long-term plans for your development and use it for your own good. They believe in astrology and use it to their advantage, and this brings them success, politics, and economics. This is also an important fact. You know, after an attempt was made on Ronald Reagan, his wife turned to astrologers and they looked at the forecast there would be another attempt. And that's not all. It was the President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, who blindly believed in astrology. It was he who believed that only possessing astrology, using it for his own benefit, can a superpower be controlled. And you know what an interesting fact? No one knew the exact date of birth of Ronald Reagan because he believed that his opponents could use it. Knowing his date of birth, they will be able to build a natal card and use it against him. Here is such an important and interesting fact. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes it happens. Predictions of the past. Who do you think was a great astrologer? Well, of course it was Nostradamus. He was not only a great astrologer, but also a visionary and alchemist. He predicted the future as much as 2,240 years in advance. He predicted many events. This is World War II and the explosion in Hiroshima and the fall of Germany in the AIDS epidemic. Nostradamus foresaw and recorded on his writings that in 2001 there would be a terrorist attack in the United States. And he very well revealed that now what is happening with us in our 2020. But we will talk about the Satan in general. He very clearly saw that what happened to the planet with people, with economies. Experts have repeatedly evaluated the accuracy of his predictions and found that they are right as much as 85%. The predictions of Nostradamus cover a huge period of time. Just think for a second that the period at this time is from 1555 to 3797. Can you imagine how many words he wrote, how much information came to him, and he left others to us in future generations, and we can use it. And all this is also due to astrology. Yeah, that's right. I also want to note that even at the very beginning of astrology, when it was born by people, they used it for agricultural purposes. Yeah, because they were then dependent on a harvest, and it was very important to do so when in accordance with the predictions of astrologers and also the harvest, so that there was no hunger. Astrology is a parallel between celestial bodies and the interaction of people with nature. So, what is astrology? Is it science or art? In fact, astrology is both science and art. One can argue here, but everyone should probably remain with the opinion that astrology is both science and art. They have equal shares. She claims to have scientific status because in her calculations she uses higher mathematics and geometry in making forecasts. And the fact that astrology is to some extent art depends on how much the astrologer interprets predictions from his point of view, with his intuition, with his creative approach. That is, as some element of creativity. Thus, we draw some conclusions that astrology is equally science and art. And all this is for our good, the good of people, so that we can take advantage of this and adjust what may not be very good events that can happen to us in our lives. And maybe we just need to use this knowledge in order to improve it. We know how will you in our lives. Interesting facts about astrology. Hitler and astrology. Did you know that in 1924 a famous astrologer predicted to Hitler that he would become a Führer? Another interesting fact is the influence of the geographical position. Astrologers rightly believe that our geographical position can affect how we can live. With the help of astrology, we can see in which areas we will be more talented, happy, and successful. This fact must be used in raising children. But yeah, you heard right. Of course, it is not recommended to build in a card immediately at the birth of a child. But at the same time, the more adult age of 3, 4, maybe 5 years, you can build in a card of a child and see the areas in which it will be most successful. And we can guide him in development to where he will not be most chaos. You can also see some not very good events, and this can be corrected. So the amount of information that astrology owns is very large, and each person can use this information for his own benefit. The gap between scientists and astrologers. Modern science is quite skeptical about astrology. They argue that human life is largely dependent on genetics, and astrologers claim that human life is largely predetermined by the stars. This fact causes a well-known dispute between scientists and astrologers. However, according to a survey, people spend more than $100 million a year on astrology. And you know why? Quite rightly, in order to learn more about your life in the future, to learn about your life in the past, and to correct many points. Yes, astrology allows you to make a lot of predictions regarding to the life of each person, regarding the life of the whole country. So having this all that information, each person uses it for his own benefit. This is such an entertaining science, but at the same time a very serious science. In the next video, I want to talk with you about the predictions of Nostradamus, reveal a little his biographical aspects of life, and also consider in detail the forecast that he made for 2020. It will be very interesting for me to consider as famous people use for knowledge of astrology for their professional growth, for their spiritual growth, how much astrology helps or does not help them. If you are interested, please like me, subscribe to my channel. If you have any topics that you would be interested in discussing, please write about this in the comments. That's all for today. I say goodbye to you. Bye bye.